Hi, I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us. Kristen Oaks-White will join us a little bit later in the show. Every day, farmers work to feed the world. At the same time, bees and other pollinators are working to pollinate the plants farmers depend upon. This week, Twila's Neil Melancon takes us to a Louisiana research facility that is leading the globe in the fight to save bees.
Honeybees are insects, but really they're a lot more like livestock. And like livestock, they can be artificially inseminated inside the appropriately named Love Shack here at the USDA Honeybee Lab in Baton Rouge. The love that goes into these queen bees is breeding better generations.
Historically, over many years, bees have been bred for high honey production, and then now with almond pollinations, we breed bees that build up rapidly very early in the season. So any of those traits or behaviors, as long as we identify it, measure it, and breed for it, we could select for it.
Frank Rinkevich is working on helping stop one of the biggest killers of honeybees, the varroa mite. He says they found a behavior that helps stop the spread called varroa-sensitive hygiene.
And the way that varroa-sensitive hygiene works is that the worker bees will detect if there is a reproductive mite in a sealed brood cell. So where the honeybee pupa is covered with a wax capping and silk capping, there are workers that will detect that mite. Those workers then open up and uncap that cell, and then workers remove the pupa, and in some cases either throw her out of the colony or destroy her, thus interrupting the mite's reproductive cycle.
Mites aren't the only issue bees have. Like people, they can get sick from viruses and other pathogens. Here at the lab, they're testing to see how these drones respond to various viral cultures. However, one project they're working on is to get the bees to help inoculate themselves.
We have some really exciting work led by Vincent Ristigliano, where he is essentially engineering therapeutic food for bees, so that it's essentially inserting antiviral treatment in microalgae food that then are fed to bees, so it's kind of this edible vaccine.
And it's not just building better bees being done here, it's building better beehives, including using different shapes inside the hive.
And that encourages the bees to put these antimicrobial plant resins within their hive, and that we found really boosts their health. So that's something that beekeepers can do kind of in the background that can boost colony populations and increase their health and increase productivity.
And just like people, bees suffer when it's hot or their diet changes. Sharon O'Brien is looking into how to help bees adapt to changing conditions.
It's for pollen restriction research. Basically, we have two different stocks, and some of them are going to be pollen restricted and some of them aren't. And it's just kind of look at temperament and what's going on with the bees when they're in a dearth and don't have as much food.
The research being done here in Baton Rouge is not only shaping bee research in the United States and across the globe, but is also helping save almost all food production for the future. Reporting from Baton Rouge, I'm Neil Melancon.
As you might imagine, springtime is a busy time for both bees and those researchers. With the warmer weather, bees are pollinating the crops that will soon become this year's harvest in the fall. Louisiana is home to more than 720,000 head of cattle. Some of them are bred specifically for the show ring. The Louisiana Farm Bureau Young Farmers and Ranchers held its 11th annual Youth Livestock Show in Gonzales. Twila's Keely Ana Strickland takes us there.
Every year, kids of all ages round up their cattle and head to the Louisiana Farm Bureau Young Farmers and Ranchers Youth Livestock Show. This year's show had a record-breaking turnout with over 101 exhibitors and 209 cows. 14-year-old Win Cupid is just one of many who looks forward to this show all year long. He says his favorite days are spent in the barn with his cows.
It's like the best thing. It's like I don't play sports, it's just I show cows, and it's like the best thing ever. It's basically like going to a football game for me.
5 years ago, Cupid's friends got him into showing cattle, and he hasn't looked back. When Cupid isn't at a show, he spends his free time tending to his cows on his family's land in Mississippi. He says it takes a lot of work, time, and money, but he wouldn't have it any other way.
It's not all sunshine and roses all the time, but you just got to learn what has to be done and you take care of it. And so just having that exposure to what life really is all about.
Robert Duncan is a fourth-generation farmer and cattleman and also serves as the YF&R state chair. He has been involved since 2015 and believes in the importance of engaging children in the ag world around them from an early age.
In it teaches you a sense of responsibility because you got to water and feed and take care of that animal.
George Falk showed animals as a kid and is now a livestock show chairman. He explains that this lifestyle teaches responsibility, commitment, and other valuable skills that you can't learn anywhere else.
A lot of work. A lot of work. Like I said, it all starts at the house. You're there. We'll pull a calf out of pasture and throw a halter on it and get that calf calmed down and trusting you to be able to lead it.
Nothing worth having comes easy, and this is true also with raising and showing livestock. Everyone here admits, while it's hard work, there is nothing more fulfilling, especially considering the atmosphere and camaraderie.
Man, the best part about this is just getting the exposure to everybody, not just the future. That's what this show's about, is getting people involved. You get these kids here and you get them the exposure to Farm Bureau and also their families, but just to get them here and tell them what we do, who we are.
Reporting from Gonzales, Louisiana, for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Keely Ana Strickland.
The YF&R program promotes Louisiana agriculture by offering leadership and training opportunities to folks involved in agriculture ages 18 to 35. If you'd like to know more about the YF&R program and its events, visit our website at twilatv.org. Things looked very different in Natchitoches at the annual Superior Livestock Gulf Coast Classic this past week, where everything is done virtually. Well, the auctioneer is still there, so it has some authenticity, but everyone inside the Natchitoches Event Center is buying and selling cattle from across the country. With a catalog of steers, heifers, and calves from Oklahoma to Florida, Superior aims to streamline the bidding and purchase process. Rayburn Smith, whose family has been with Superior since the 1980s, says he couldn't imagine going back to the old way of doing things.
The best thing I can think of about Superior Livestock is it brings buyers to the country. I mean, they sit right there in their office, wherever they are, and bid on cattle in South Louisiana on the coast. That they'd never hear of these cattle any other way. So it's revolutionized the market.
This year's event moved more than 77,000 head of cattle. We're going to see Kristen harvest crawfish a little later in the show, but we want to tease you first with where you can get them and how much they will cost. In Broussard, you'll find live crawfish for $2.99 a pound at Broussard's Boiling Pot, and if you want them boiled in that pot, it'll cost you $5.29 a pound. Go over to Keith's Seafood in Slidell, where you'll find live crawfish for the same price, $2.99 a pound, and boiled crawfish for $5.99 a pound. In Natchitoches, pass on the meat pie and get a pound of boiled crawfish for that popular price of $2.99 a pound, or pick them up boiled for $4.99 a pound over at Natchitoches Crawfish. Now make sure wherever you're getting those crawfish, you do two things. One, check those prices before you go. They change at least every week. And two, make sure you're getting Louisiana crawfish, which is why the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board reminds you to always ask before you eat. For Louisiana crawfish farmers who saw reduced yields or could not fish their ponds, help could be on the horizon. That's the message from Louisiana 3rd District Congressman Clay Higgins. The congressman met with farmers and ranchers at this event organized by the Acadia Parish Farm Bureau. Higgins says his staff is working with USDA and U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Tom Vilsack to provide aid to crawfish farmers through the Emergency Assistance for Livestock, Honeybees, and Farm-Raised Fish program.
Those rules will be published on the USDA website sometime, I think, in the next month, so that crawfish farmers can start applying for that relief money. And basically, once we got the Biden administration to accept crawfish in that program because of this drought, that was my office and Governor Landry's office working together closely, then it was just a matter of USDA writing the rules.
There are already emergency loans available to those in the crawfish industry through the Small Business Administration. In fact, the SBA set up 2 recovery centers to help people apply for those loans. Congressman Higgins and Troy Carter worked with Governor Jeff Landry to help bring about that assistance. There are nearly 50,000 miles of pipelines in Louisiana. That's according to the State Department of Natural Resources. Most of that is where you cannot see it, underground or underwater. That's why April is Safe Digging Month, officially proclaimed so by Governor Jeff Landry. Louisiana 811 is the group behind Safe Digging Month. Executive Director Brent Salzman says you should call 811 or visit Louisiana811.com anytime you dig to ensure you don't cut a communications wire, fiber optics, or worse, an electrical or natural gas line. Those can be fatal. When you contact 811, someone will come out and mark the ground where there is buried infrastructure. That said, for farmers and ranchers, Salzman says there are some exemptions.
Yeah, for normal commercial farming activity, that's like if you're plowing your property. You don't have to necessarily notify us, but I'd encourage you to do that anyway, at least once a year, so you know what an infrastructure is. But if you're doing something like installing a fence post, or you're going deeper excavation where you're digging a drainage ditch, those require an 811 ticket. So I'd highly encourage you to contact us because, again, it's all about safety.
If you're wondering why April is Safe Digging Month, it's because so many of us are out there doing work in our yards and planting things. Now, if you'd like to learn more about Louisiana 811, listen to the Louisiana Farm Bureau podcast. We'll have a new episode with Brent Salzman starting Monday, April 29th. Now is the time when you see lots of farmers in their fields, especially when the weather has been as pretty as it's been. So how productive has that allowed our farmers to be? Let's check in with Nick Mikulas to find out in the Farmer's Forecast. Nick?
Yeah, it's been wonderful out there, and it looks like we're going to see some more of the same, but we do have a couple of bumps in the road. Now, looking at the last 7 days, you can see how the wild swings occur across the state. The state is a big area, so we go from areas like up around Lake Providence, Oak Grove, radar estimates 4 to 6 inches of rain, and nothing really, just trace amounts south of I-10, east of Lafayette. So a big swing across the state, but it looks like most areas relatively good conditions are going on right now. Now, this is your future soil moisture. I would say it's not spot on exact with the percentage amounts here, but it looks like, again, we see most of that. The higher moisture totals are going to be across the northern 2/3 of Louisiana, and then south of I-10 is where things do dry out a good bit. And that's because we've seen some rain totals, ranging up into the several inch range up north and just nothing really falling areas south of I-10. And it looks like that continues here in our rainfall outlook for next week with 1 to 3 inches north of, say, Leesville to Faraday Line, and then south of that, those amounts drop off pretty quickly, so more of the same. And it looks like to start May, we're not going to see a ton of rain in the area, so if you need to get out and do some planting or whatever you need to do in the fields, it looks like the weather's going to cooperate, and we are going to see temperatures really warming up as well. So as we get into May, typical temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, and I think we're going to see maybe some 90s creeping into things. So the warmth is going to become a bit more prominent across the state, and we know how that goes. Once it starts, it's going to be tough to stop it. Back to you.
Thanks, Nick. Still to come on Twila, checking crawfish traps might look easy, but Kristen Oaks-White found out firsthand just how tough pulling in one sack can be. We'll check in with her in Kaplan next.
You're watching This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
Welcome to Feasting on Agriculture. I'm Kristen Oaks-White, and today we're in Kaplan, Louisiana at Crawfish Haven Bed and Breakfast. And this is one of the very first places to offer crawfish excursion tours, and we're going to go take a tour for ourselves right now.
Feasting on Agriculture is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
Joining me now is Mr. Barry Toops with Crawfish Haven Bed and Breakfast. It's the only place in the world where you can catch, cook, and sleep.
Correct.
And so you've got a bed and breakfast and a tourism operation. What made you decide to get into this?
Well, back in 2015, 13, I bought the place. 2015, my relatives from Biloxi came crawfishing and had a blast crawfishing. And one of them said, hey, you ought to do that commercially, take people crawfishing. That's when I came up with the idea to turn this into a bed and breakfast and offer crawfish excursions. My first year, I only had 3 nights the whole year. And now we have a couple of 100 nights a year in the bed and breakfast.
So business is booming, it sounds like.
Doing great.
Maybe something about the cooking or the...
Well, so I've had people from all over the world, and if they're here for 2 or 3 days, we won't do just boiled crawfish. We might cook a crawfish etouffee or crawfish chowder or something else. and they just in love with the food, Cajun food.
How many people you got on today's tour?
2 on the first one, and then I got another group after that.
Okay.
Catch has not been great. March 1st it picked up.
Yeah.
It's been fairly good, really. I mean, last week was really good. Right after we had that weather, on 300 cages we caught 500 pounds of crawfish.
Wow. And so Friday you got the group from France? Said?
But I have France probably twice a week.
Oh, wow.
Had Canada last night, New York, and Georgia last night. Wow. Today's California. It's fun.
It sounds like it.
Fun. I'm gonna walk out there and get the boat now.
Okay.
See, this is a crawfish that's buried right here, and the hole's capped. It may come back out again, but look, that's another fresh hole right there. They starting to transition. I don't know.
It's gonna be a slow season, I guess. We ready?
Watch your head.
Okay.
What? Step.
So I'm gonna sit right here.
You're gonna sit right here and you're gonna pick up the traps.
I didn't know you were gonna put me to work today.
I figured out a way to get people to pay me to do my work.
Sounds like a good plan.
That's your first trap right here.
Yeah.
All right?
You want me to shove them in?
You can, yeah, but look, your job's picking up the traps.
Okay.
They'll work their way in there.
Okay. Really should have brought a ponytail. Okay. All right.
Hand it back to me.
Hand it back to you, okay? Am I getting paid by the claw?
You get to eat free.
Okay. If there was a day that I thought I was gonna...
Uh-oh, you are fired.
Ah! Well, I was trying to save him. Oh, shoot! Dadgummit. Yeah. You pinched me. Your revenge is coming in a few minutes, buddy.
How'd you do? My day's great. Got a good helper. She had a couple of strikes against her, but she did all right. We just ran about 35, 40 cages, and we just caught, what, how many pounds?
How many pounds? We caught a sack, so a sack's 20 pounds?
We got to guess the weight. I'll let you pick it up if you want.
Might be a little... Yeah, I'm gonna change my vote. I vote for 30. Yeah, I'm gonna vote for 30.
All right, I'm going to say 27 pounds.
I said 20. Can I change it back?
No.
What about 29?
It's not full. 29's good. That's a good guess. You can even go 28 if you want.
I'll go 28.
Yeah.
I'll go
Just
28.
remember, if you over, it's like the price is right.
Well, I said 27, but
But
it feels a little heavier than 27.
you
So
might be right.
I'm gonna go 28.
All right.
28.
Cool.
Final vote.
Let's go.
I did not know that I was gonna be put to work today, but nevertheless, I caught a big sack of crawfish and we're gonna take them back and boil them up when we come back. Okay, what's the 28 on the dot. So does this void my 3 strikes?
Yep.
Okay. You weren't kidding about putting people to work, were you? Ah. You've got a high standard. How about that? Don't worry, you won't feel a thing.
There's one more. $5. Not bad.
Not bad.
I've had worse. All right, now they're ready to go in the hot tub.
So we've got 28 pounds of crawfish that yours truly caught. And so now we're gonna boil them up.
All righty.
Okay.
Put them in.
I'm doing my best. You weren't joking about a full day's work.
In the hot tub.
So every Cajun Louisiana person that I know has their own special recipe, and you are no different.
That's correct.
What makes your recipe different or special about boiling crawfish?
My seasoning has citrus spices in it.
Okay.
And the slow and salt has no MSG.
Okay.
First thing people tell me after eating my crawfish, I didn't swell up because of less salt in it.
Okay.
And they just love my seasoning. I can't tell you all the other stuff.
Well, you've got to give me something. There's got to be one little nugget of, one little secret that you can give us. Well, Barry, now it's time for my payment for all of the work that I've done for you today.
You did a great job.
Well, I didn't know that I was going to be put to work today, but now this is pretty good payment. So let's try your special crawfish recipe.
Go for it.
Can we go? Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm not the best peeler.
We give lessons on that too.
All right. You're right. You can't tell that there's no salt. Okay. Pretty perfect, Barry. Pretty perfect.
Thank you. So Cajuns can eat them two ways. Like they take them like this, they push them in, they turn it like this.
I feel like you just issued a challenge, though. No, it didn't work.
Didn't work.
It
'Cause
didn't
that's
work.
a harder one. That's
Y'all got
why.
different teeth or something?
No, it's a harder one. The shell was harder. These claws.
Let's test your claws, because that's one of my favorite parts.
Here.
Pretty good, Barry. This has been a wonderful experience. Thank you so much, Barry, for welcoming us here to your bed and breakfast. If you want to learn more about Crawfish Haven Bed and Breakfast or book a tour yourself, visit our website at twilatv.org. Until next time, we'll see you on Feasting on Agriculture.
Feasting on Agriculture was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board. Think rice.
Time now for this week's Twila Boost, and just like Kristen, we're talking about crawfish. You know you love eating them, but what about peeling? A company called Dust Kitchenware is advertising its latest product on TikTok, a crawfish tail peeler. And the comments are just about what you would expect. Quote, "Not Louisiana approved," writes one woman, "laughs in Cajun. You'd be asked politely, yet firmly, to leave." Others pointed out that all the tails were straight, and well, you know what that means. We were quick to notice that there doesn't seem to be much seasoning on these crawfish. While it's a neat idea, crawfish out of boil are more like Christmas presents. It's a lot more fun when you open them yourself. Well, that does it for this edition of Twila. Be sure to join us next week when Karl Wiggers will give us an update on the Farm Bill and why it's important for Louisiana that Congress pass one this year. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can also find all these stories and more on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when we put something new out there. For all of us here at Twila, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.